Hi, I'm Sophie.
I'm Talia.
And we're from Bonded by Babies. Today we're going to answer some of the questions that you have sent over and we hope we can help.
So I have this question a lot on our own Instagram account. I am currently using the PureFlow Nest for my 10-week-old during the day for supervised sleep, and at night he sleeps in PureFlow's breathable bedside crib. So the best way I would say to settle them in a crib is to use the PureFlow Swaddle. Is beautiful. The quality of it is amazing.
Yeah, beautiful.
A dummy, white noise, a blackout blind, a really good wind down before bed.
Comforters are good as well.
Comforters are really good. Obviously, if it's before an age where they can pull it off their face themselves, then take it away once they're asleep. That's what I do with Story. And hand on their chest, shushing them. Whichever method you choose, be consistent with it, because they learn very, very quickly that this is a time of sleep and this is a comforting place and a safe place and a warm place, and you'll get there. This one is tricky, and people ask me this question all the time and think that as a sleep consultant I'm going to have a magic answer, and there isn't one. I'd say the first 3 months with any newborn, whether you have other kids or not, is just survival. Would you agree? Like the sleep deprivation and stuff. So my advice would be to put them in a sling or hold them, a bouncer, really anything that you can do.
The more difficult thing for you is Blake's not even in nursery, so you have 2 babies at home with no help at all. So well done.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest, I have him in the sling the majority of the time at home because it means that I'm hands-free, so I can do stuff with my 2-year-old.
And your baby beyond bouncer is life-changing.
Yeah, but in terms of getting them to nap, the buggy and the sling for sure are the safest, easiest ways to get your newborn to sleep. Like, there's no need for a routine at this age. There's no need for them to self-settle. Like, they are in the 4th trimester. They're newborn babies. They just want to be with you. So whatever you can do to survive will work. Yeah. So I would say it's really hard for me to comment on that one specifically, because I don't know that baby and I don't know how much they weighed when they were born and how much they weigh now. But if they are following their curve and they're gaining weight and they're having good feeds, probably 3 hourly during the day, 2 to 3 hourly, it's absolutely fine for them to go for that amount of time at night, providing they're feeding well and gaining. Then yeah,
I'm jealous.
So am I.
I'm really jealous. 7 p.m. till 4 a.m. You go, as long as that baby's happy and healthy and safe.
The general rule for around 9 months old is to have an awake window of 3 to 3.5 hours, but obviously it's really dependent on the baby.
Yeah.
So let's say they always start their day at 7 or 6 or 8, whatever time it is your baby wakes up. You would try and gauge their day routine to be based around, from morning till morning nap would be to 3 hours maximum, 2.5 to 3, and then they'd have their nap, and then their morning nap till their lunch nap would be 3.5 hours. They'd have their lunch nap, and then they'd have 3.5 hours till bedtime. But obviously it's really dependent on each baby and how they cope. I know that for Blake, she had a much smaller awake window.
Callie had a huge awake window.
Callie never showed any. You have to look at your baby, you have to look for tired signs.
I also got told as well, don't work on an actual time like 7, 11.
Every day will vary depending on...
But just focus on that awake window rather than the actual times. Because then with the whole mental side of things as well, you get so stressed. Oh my goodness, it's 7 o'clock, but she needs to be feeding at 8 o'clock and she's still asleep and and it just makes you feel really, really unsettled. Just go with what you feel is best.
Yeah, and you watch your baby, but I'd say no more than 2 to 2.5 hours of total day sleep for a 9-month-old, and just watch for the tired signs, the yawning, grouchy,
unsettled. Yeah.
Try and get them into their nap before that happens though, because that's a sign that they're going to become overtired. But every day will be different depending on how active they've been as well, whether they've been out and had fresh air, or if they're crawling, whether they've crawled a lot or sat in the buggy. It will just vary.
How can I get my baby to settle off to sleep? It takes us at least 2 hours to get him off to sleep.
Ooh, 2 hours, that's exhausting. Really hard for me to comment on this one because I don't know how old the baby is and I don't know what methods you're using to get the baby off to sleep, but 2 hours is an absolute, something needs to change here. You must be exhausted, so I really feel for you. So I'll just comment in a really vague way because I need to know the baby's age, but a really good way to help them settle is to, number one, make sure that they're able to self-settle. If they're not able to self-settle, which I assume they're not because you're having to take 2 hours to get them down, have a Google at some really good self-settling techniques and methods and find one that works best for you and your lifestyle. Having a nice dark room, calming atmosphere, white noise. If they're from 4 or 5 months onwards, then a nice book, just a really good calm wind down. Even if they're not able to self-settle, it will help them, their bodies to be ready for sleep. It will help their brains to release the correct hormones that will allow them to fall asleep quickly.
You also said to me to choose 1 or 2 songs to sing them every night because that also will get them into their head that, oh, that's a song that I keep hearing. I know that's time for sleep.
Yeah, like a lot of people use Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or, you know, any song that
until they start doing this with the whole dancing thing, then you change the song to something else.
Comforter, depending on how old your baby is, a dummy if that's something that you are into. But feel free to message Sophie and I with more information on how old your baby is and which methods you've used that have clearly not worked, and we will help you. So I'm really lucky that I have Sophie because she helps me so much. I personally have clients in the evening because my daughter isn't at nursery yet, nor is Callie. So we kind of just have to work around them.
Luckily, we do sometimes have Panma and nanas to help.
We are lucky in that respect.
But yeah, otherwise, because our work is mainly on the phone, we can do it during any nap times, evening and weekends.
Yeah, we also just tag team. Like, you take my kids and I can have a call, and then I take Callie and Sophie can have a call.
Yeah, some calls are only half an hour to an hour, so just to even go for a walk and speak on the phone.
It is tricky to find the time, but we've managed to fit clients in. People are under the misconception that your babies have to have this like 2 hour amazing lunch nap, an hour and a half in the morning. It's not the case. If you're providing your baby wakes up after the 30 or 45 minute nap, which is one sleep cycle, and they're happy and they're chatting and they're content until their next nap, that's absolutely fine. Like, cat napping is more than absolutely fine if they are happy when they're awake and they're not constantly grizzly and overtired.
Or happy when they wake up after that 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. If they wake up chatting and happy. It's unlikely to be a phase. It might be a timing issue. So as babies get older, their awake window will get bigger slowly, and if you're always putting them down at the same time and you don't extend that awake window, they're going to be going to bed undertired as opposed to overtired. It can cause the waking issue just as much as overtired can. So maybe tweak your timings a little bit, put them down 5-10 minutes later and see how they get on. But the 3 45-minute naps at that age is okay. Don't panic about it. Just see if
it's just not great for you.
Yeah, it's not great for you, but if it works for your baby, then
it will change. I remember Callie went through that phase around 6 months, and all my friends were like, "Yeah, I've got an hour and a half in the morning." I was like,
"Yeah," and then
it is a phase. It was a phase for Callie anyway. So. Yeah. I totally understand where you're coming from when it comes to that. We were also in the same position. Early nights obviously really helps. Helping each other throughout the night as well, so giving each other time to get some sleep in. Obviously, healthy diet always helps when you're exhausted and for your mind. Exercise too, fresh air, walking, and just getting along with each other, because that's the most important thing. As I can fully appreciate, you know, it's not easy, and having arguments because you're so tired just doesn't help anything. So yes, calm, fresh air, walking, clear your mind, you'll be fine.
Oh, I had that, didn't I, with Blake?
I had it to 11 months, every 2 hours, and I know that routine is so important, but sometimes things don't always work for you. And the reason it didn't work for me routine-wise is I actually found out that my daughter Callie had reflux. What else was wrong with her?
She had silent reflux, she did dairy intolerance.
Dairy intolerance and silent reflux. So there were things that we picked up along the way because I was using such a strict routine and nothing was working.
And sleep training wasn't working with her either.
We tried, didn't we?
Yeah.
So 6 months to every 2 hours. Do check that, because I'm not saying there is anything wrong, but the reason Callie wanted to wake up every 2 hours was a feed, was it was actually comfort for her. Because she had such a tummy ache, and obviously, yeah, of course, with all the acid. So that might be a reason. Apart from that, maybe you should consider sleep training, and we have a great consultant over here. But that will be the reason. And the losing your mind thing, you just, you can't. You can't. You have to take each day. You have to live every day. So just wake up with a positive mind and just be patient, because I promise you it will change.